The state of North Carolina has banned women from baring their breasts while they're protesting. Now, this happened after there were a string of women's rights protesters doing so while they're, completely topless. And the lawmakers didn't like that. They thought that it was distracting, so they passed a law that would make it a felony to show your breasts, okay? So under the proposed law, women can spend up to 6 months in jail for the first offense. Incidental nipple exposure by breastfeeding mothers would be exempt from the law.
Are they not merciful? They allow for incidental nipples.
Incidental.
Yes.
Right.
So there was a Democratic lawmaker, Representative Annie Mobley, who was really worried about this because she said, well, what if you are in public, you're wearing something that's a little provocative and you have a... I know.
What?
Come on.
It is a crime. Okay, all right.
Okay, so this lawmaker was worried because she says, what if you're wearing something that's a little provocative but you're covered and you have a little bit of a nip slip while you're in public? Are you going to serve 6 months in prison for that?
No, let's talk about this for a second. Okay, now I get the reasons why you don't want public nudity. So 6 months for revealing something that is naturally part of your body. It's insanity.
And
I mean, like, we make fun of the Iranians and the Saudis that say, like, oh, if you show an ankle, morality police. But I got news for you. A nipple is just as much part of your body as the elbow is. 6 months in prison? It's one thing to say, hey, listen, that's a fine, man, because, look, we got whatever. That's not the kind of society we live in. 6 months in prison.
I know. And also, think about this, right? Let's say that there is a huskier individual who's a male, right? And he has boobannies himself, right?
Okay, let's say.
He is allowed to show those boobannies because he's a man. But if you're a woman, you're not allowed to show them because for some reason female breasts are a big deal, right?
So Jen can go to North Carolina and take his shirt off, no problems.
I don't know if Jake has boobannies.
No, I don't have nipples. That's the weird thing about it.
No, but you know what I meant by that.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I have a very manly chest. It's lots of hair.
That's right, you're wrestling.
No, and also another thing that I wanted to mention is, so you have the provocative clothing, something slips out, right? A lawmaker did address that issue. Committee Chairman Representative Sarah Stephen suggested that women could use pasties or nipple coverings just to be safe. So if you're sporting the underboob in North Carolina, make sure you have some duct tape on the nips, just to make sure that you don't get prosecuted.
No, what kind of nonsensical, well, anyway.
Is that the protest that happened?
No, that's just a random
Okay,
picture.
so there was this, and all this comes from this protest that I wish I was at. Apparently in North Carolina, they do a protest where the women take off their tops, which is awesome.
Let's have a discussion about that for a second. Because the women that are doing this are doing so because they want to fight for equality, women's rights. You get the picture, right? Is that the best?
No, I wish we had the picture.
Okay. Is that the best way to get your message across? And I'm not hating on the protesters because I think that they're protesting for something good, but at the same time, all we're talking about is the fact that you guys aren't wearing shirts. We're not talking about what you're fighting for. So I think it's just a huge distraction. I don't know if I would go
Their point would be we wouldn't be talking about it at all if they didn't take the shirts off.
That's a fair point, but I think that you lose in both situations.
Here's one thing I know for sure. This law is just ridiculous in 18 different ways, because that was obviously a political statement they were making, and the law says that exposing the private parts for the purpose of arousing or gratifying sexual desire. But that's not what the women were doing anyway. And so why did you pass this law in regards to that protest when it wouldn't even apply to that protest?
You can do all you want there with the 6 months in jail. I mean, I got to think that the worst lawyer in North Carolina could get any of those women off.
Yeah. I mean, no one is actually going to serve 6 months in jail, but the fact that that's a possibility is
well,
a
I mean, you
ridiculous.
couldn't even get convicted. I mean, it's such an easy defense, like if you're doing it to...
And ironically, the lawyer might get them off by saying, Your Honor, nobody was trying to get off.